This question is 2015 paper 2 question 13 and one of the most difficult ones of the exam. So this is a Bavings question and you want to pause the video and have a look at it. Your opportunity is now. So let's have a look at what we have. So some of the information is in the text, some of the information is in the diagram. So we'll take a look and we'll sketch the shape out. So we know this is 25. And we know this is 72. So it also tells us from Queenstown. So Queenstown is Q, Rushden is R, and Portley is P. It's the letters that you would expect. You just have to read the question and figure out the context. So from Queenstown, the Baving of Rushden. So what that means is you have this pointing up. So the Baving of Rushden. So you start north at Queenstown and you go along until you meet Rushden. And what that means is this angle is 128. I'm indicating this in purple because it's not part of the triangle. It's just the information that we need to find other angles. So if we have a look at the question also, we can find this angle. I should label P and Q, and you want to label your sides and your angles. I will explain how to label the sides in a second, but it says that Portley is 25 kilometres due south of Queenstown, and what it means if it's due south is that I will do this in another one. It means that the Baving is 180. So that goes up north. So what it means is this angle is 180. Because it's going in a straight line. It's a vertical line. So that's 180. So this angle in here, this one must be 180. Take away 128. And that gives us 52. And it asks us to calculate the distance between Portley and Rushden. So you need this length, and it's this. You can think about this as trigonometry is an easy way to think about this, and I'm going to draw another shape. I know there's a lot of pictures in this, but That one is a bit messy, so let's do a clean one. So we know that Q, P, and R. Now side Q is labelled as a small q and it's opposite the angle. Small p is the side opposite the angle P, and the same with this. We're going to highlight in purple all of the information that we either know or need to find out. So we know this angle. That angle is 52. I would suggest doing it this way as well. Then you know which of the formulas to use. 72, so we know both of them. We need to find Q, and we know this length of 25 kilometers. You can see that we know an angle and we know the opposite side. We know Q and big Q and small q. We know small r. But if you have a look at this, you've got the sine rule and the cosine rule. The idea with the sine rule is, if you know two pairs of sides and angles, what I mean by that is, if you know two opposites, so you know a side and the opposite angle, and you know another side and an opposite angle, you can use that. So you've got Q and Q. We don't know side P, and it's not something we've to find out. So if you think we've got small r and big R, we can find this angle, R. That's 180 minus 52. 180 minus 52 minus 72. That's 180 minus 124. That gives us the answer of 56. With this angle is 56. And what we're going to do is we can then use the sine rule, because we have two sets of angles and sides which are opposite each other. So we can then write that down, R and Q. Make sure to not confuse the angles and the sides. Angles are the capitals and the sides are small letters. Q is what we want, small q is what we want to find out. The angle Q is 52, and you must write sine of 52. Do not write 52. R, that's 25. And the sine of R is the sine of 56. Again, you must put sine of 56. So the sine of 50, we need to get q on its own, small q on its own. Now the sine of 52 is dividing on the left hand side. So if we multiply the left by sine 52, it will cancel out and we're left with q. But if we multiply the left hand side by the sine of 52, we also have to do that to the right hand side. So that's going to be q equals 25 sine of 52 divided by the sine of 56. Plugging this into the calculator gives you, watch out for degrees and radians. You use degrees, you do not use radians. That is 23 point, go with 76, and the units are kilometres. And just a final statement to say that's the distance. We will have a look at the context of the question. So this is the distance between Portley and Rushden. It's just about knowing whether to use the sine rule or the cosine rule, and once you've got the pairs of sides and angles, it becomes clear that you have to use the sine rule. So that's the distance, and that's the answer that we need. Let's have a look at how the SQA would assign marks to this question. The first mark is for knowing the angle of 52. Which we got here. Second one is for substituting into the sine rule. So this up to this point is 2 marks. Then you would get the third mark for multiplying by the sine of 52 on both sides. So that. And the final mark would be for this. There's nothing in the question asking us to round to anything specific, so they said 23.8 in the marking, but I used 23.76, so that's equally good. And in the notes are the common mistakes that pupils made, so you'll want to have a look at those. These are the ways that many pupils lost marks. I hope you found the video useful, and leave a comment if you need any help. Thanks for watching.